What has decluttering got to do with mental health? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to organize our home. But first, what we need to do is organize our mind. If our house is totally disorganized, then we find our mind we're foggy, we can't focus. It's not good for our mental health. So if there's something that interests you, keep watching. Welcome to Wellness for Women, where we look at all issues concerning women's health, women of all ages. We look at the mind, we look at the body, we look at diet, we look at personal development, we look at emotional well-being, and we look at mental well-being, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is about decluttering. Now, I'm not a decluttering expert, but I've learnt from a lot of people who are absolute experts, and I'll put those links down in the show notes for you, so take a look at those. If it doesn't take you directly to that, just put the link in the browser, and it'll take you to a couple of people's channels that has helped me over the years, and they are experts, and I've learned a lot from them. But one thing I've realized as a counselor, as a coach and a wellness consultant, that so many things are linked to our mental health. Our success is linked to our mental health. And I know for me personally, if my house is cluttered, if it's dirty, it's not clean, then I just can't focus. I just keep looking around at all the junk and the stuff that is piling up around me, and I can't focus, and it just causes me to be depressed. And like a lot of women, I suffered with after having I think it was my third baby, I developed a quite severe depression, and off and on I've suffered with it ever since. And so mental health for me has become a real focus in my personal life, and of course speaking to women with their wellness and helping them and having lots of friends. It is just so common, whether people have children or whether they don't. Depression can be something that a lot of women suffer from, and we can get depressed by looking at the junk that's just around our house. We can get depressed and we feel overwhelmed. I don't know about you, but I get overwhelmed quite easily. And I look around and I go, where do I start? So I don't start. Particularly if you're like me, you live solo, and there's nobody else to do the housework and the tidying up except you. And perhaps you can afford somebody to come in to do it for you, or perhaps, you're like most of us who can't. Today I'm just going to give you a few tips to how to get you started for the sake of your mental health. And I think we need a reason to do this. We need a reason because when all the children went home and we had husbands and we had family coming regularly, it's easy to clean up because you're doing it for them. And I know when people come and I have some dinner parties and everything like that, I can clean the house in a quarter of the time, and I can do it beautiful and tidy up and declutter. And whereas other times when nobody's coming, I really, really struggle. So we need to have a reason to do this. And you are enough reason. I had to learn this for myself, that I know it's cliche now, but you are worth it. And to have a clear focus, to have a happy disposition is so important for all of us, because then we can function better. We find a purpose, we find more success, and if you're in a career like I am, then you find more success in our careers if we've got good mental health. So let's get through a couple of tips now, and about how to get started. As I said in the show notes, I'll leave a couple of links, and these dear ladies who are experts can give you really detailed, and you actually do it with them as they go around on camera tidying up their houses and people's houses, and I found that encouraging. But this is just a few tips to get you started and probably pique your interest and give you a reason, and the reason is for your mental health, because you are worth it. You are worth feeling happy, you are worth feeling focused, you are worth it. And even if you don't do this for anybody else, if you've got a family to do it for, wonderful. If you've got a partner to do it for, wonderful. If you've got guests coming and you're doing it for that, fantastic. But you also need to do it for you, because it makes you feel good and it's good for your mental health. So first one, pick your worst room. Sometimes we want to avoid the worst thing possible, so we put it at the end of the day and we don't get it done. So you go into your worst room that looks the messiest, and just see how it looks. Just don't go in randomly. We need a little bit of a plan here, and if you plan how you actually tackle that room, you'll be successful and you'll probably enjoy it. What I do, I go onto YouTube and pick an audio book and turn it up really loud, and I put it on my TV, and if I'm going from room to room, I put it on my phone and take my phone around. But if I'm just staying in one particular room for more than an hour, and sometimes if your room is really cluttered, it might be most of the day. I know that's happened to me. So if I've got a TV in the room, stick the TV on. You see the cover of the book, so you can engage with it a little bit better. Turn it up, and if it piques your interest, listen to the audio book. But first, before you do that, you need to make a plan. So your number one plan is that you're going to listen to an audio book or some music or something else that you enjoy. It fills the space. You don't feel so lonely in all that. So you stand in the middle of the room. I always stand at the doorway and I visualize the room. How do I want this room to look? When it's all done, what do I want to do? And if it's really, really messy, I start writing stuff down, because I can lose track quite easily. And I write things down. I make notes to myself. This is how I want it tidy. I want certain things in certain places. I might want to try to feel how you are going to feel at the end. So you need to visualize the room. So you decide, what do you want it to look like, and visualize that room. Put into your mind how you want the room to look. And this gives you, and what it does chemically in your body, it releases endorphins, and it just gives you the, wow, I'm going to do this. It gives you hope. It gives you motivation. So if you visualize, and what does it look like? Write it down. You can use pictures. If you're not in a hurry on this, use a few pictures. Go onto Pinterest and look at some rooms that are very similar to yours, that you feel that aesthetic will really fit. Print out some pictures. Do a little bit of a vision board, because it'll keep you focused. Because remember that if you hire somebody to come in, this is what the steps they're going to go through with you. They're going to ask you all these questions, and quite a few weeks prior to the appointment, they're going to be asking you for pictures. They're going to be asking you for descriptions. But you can do this all by yourself if you can't afford organizations, a company to come in, like I can't. I mean, it's something like here it's about £40 an hour or something, and if they're here all day, goodness me, it's an arm and a leg, and I can do it for free if I put my mind to it. So let's put our mind to it and save ourselves a little bit of money saves ourselves. So have the goal in mind, visualize what do you start to see as you visualize, and don't look at all of the overwhelming mess, but look at about the end goal. And then you pull back and you've made your notes, or you've done your pictures, or whatever however you would like to write it down and record it. Don't keep it all in your head, because that is going to add to overwhelm, I can tell you, and that's why I listen to an audio book, because it stops me overwhelming, and stops overthinking. I've got a video on my blog about overthinking, and I invite you to go and have a look at those. There's quite a lot about it, actually. And I've got a video on my YouTube channel about stop overthinking and how to stop overthinking. And you can overthink so much and you can talk yourself into it, and you can talk yourself out of it. The room looks terrible, it's messy, I'm overthinking it. But if you visualize it and write it down, that'll stop your overthinking. It'll give you motivation. All those endorphins will rise up in your body, and you'll go, wow, I can do this, I want to do this. And it'll stop overwhelming. And so where do you want to start? Consider the furniture. If it's really, really decluttered, I would say, well, where can I put this clutter? You don't want to transfer it from one room to another. Some people get empty boxes and they start putting the clutter in empty boxes. If you don't want to go out and buy empty boxes, if you haven't got them, if you've got a couch or a big chair, you just put a blanket over it and put all your clutter stuff on there, and then you can figure out what you're going to do with it afterwards, and get your boxes and get rid of it from there. So start where you're going to, in the corner of the room. What are you going to do? You've got all this clutter, and perhaps you've got a lot of books. Well, let's start with the books. Instead of just randomly picking things up, start specifically with specific items. Why? Because if you start with specific items, and then you can categorize them either in your box or on your couch or on a table or somewhere else, and you can pile all the books in one space. You can put all the children's things in another. You can put all your things in another. You can put all your husband's things in another. Or you can just do it by item. If you do your hair downstairs, all the hair brushes in here, all the leftover cleaning stuff there, the dog's toys there. So if you categorize each item, and then, because when you finish, then you can actually see what you've got. But if you declutter and just pile it all up in just a one pile on a table or on a chair or something like that, you're going to be overwhelmed again. You can't see what you got. So the best idea is what the expert says, put them into a category box if you possibly can, if you've got the room to, and if you can do that. So what you're doing now, you're preparing yourself mentally, and you're preparing yourself physically, because your plan is developing, and you've got to write it down as well, because if you're anything like me, you forget things. So you can become overwhelmed and you get distracted. You're in the middle of something, and an idea pops into your head, and you're away doing that, and then you've completely forgotten what you're doing because you get all excited and you just want to get it all done in 5 minutes, which is not going to happen, let's face it. So if you write things down, it keeps you on track. And one thing to do as you start doing this is good for a timer. I don't use a timer unless I have to go out or I have to go to work, but I usually pick a day which is a fairly easy day for me. And but the advantage of a timer is that when you pick up a book to look at, to put it in the pile of the books, you don't start reading it. Or if you pick up something, I haven't seen this for a long time, and you think about it and you reminisce it, and you end up not really succeeding in your goal at all of decluttering. So the idea of a timer is to keep you on track. Just 15 minutes at a time. Okay, what can I do in 15 minutes? Okay, I'll clean all the books up first, and I'll take 15 minutes. Put the timer on, and then once it's finished, then you can sit back and you can go, done that. Your first goal is reached, and it makes you feel really, really good. It's good for your mental health. It's good for your self-esteem. Think, well, if I've done that, I can do the next thing. I can tidy up the kids' toys or the dog's toys or the empty cups. Okay, let's go for the empty cups. It's not going to take 15 minutes. It's going to take 10 minutes. So let's put the timer on for that, and let's gather up all the dishes and whatever it might else, and put them in a category. Put them in the kitchen sink, probably, if they're dishes. That's what you'd be needing to do. And second goal, you've reached your second goal, and you pat yourself on the back. Thing, well, I've done 2 things now. I can keep going. And so by the time you reach the end, you've got order. And then you can see, once you've got order, you can see what you've got. And then you can decide that if you want to move furniture around, you look at, and then once you've decided what you're going to do that, think about your sentimental items, ornaments, or things that are just built up. And so many people, if you go to garage sales, like I love going to garage sales, you end up with stuff you really don't need and you need to get rid of. And I'm trying to live a minimalist lifestyle, the best I can for me anyways. Probably not a minimalist as a minimalist would, but it is minimalist for me. And so I'm constantly, when I declutter, I look at the ornaments, look at the things that, and is the space going to be cluttered? Am I going to declutter and then reclutter the whole thing? And I've got to be really tough with myself and say, well, sentimentality is really great, but when I die, unless somebody is going to inherit that particular thing, what good is it? Who's going to have it? Where I enjoy it, but perhaps I can put it away somewhere and just take it out every now and then and enjoy it, rather than having the whole thing decluttered. I've been into homes where you cannot move. Every space, every top, every surface is absolutely cluttered. And as I said to someone one day, how do you find the time to dust all of those? And she says, I don't. So that's one thing about being cluttered. You accumulate dust and dirt, and when there's dust mites. Where there's dust mites, you have possible allergies in the home, and you really don't want that. And particularly if you have any breathing problems, you need to have a dust-free house, because we inhale, or we don't see it. They're microbes, and we don't see dust mites unless they are so much, they look like a white web, and I've seen that in people's homes, and they're just breeding dust mites, and we don't want that. So, it's good to declutter any sentimental thing so it won't gather dust, so it's easier for you to maintain. So, final thoughts now. It is a monumental task. I know, been there, and it happens every now and again. You get so busy for some weeks, and for a couple of weeks you can't do anything, and you find yourself overwhelmed in clutter. It happens. You're not going to declutter and it'll never happen again. It's part of our life. We get busy, particularly it's the summer. I want to go out, I want to enjoy the beach, I want to go mountain walking and all sorts of things. And there's one thing I neglect, is my home, because I want to do other things. In the winter it's pretty good because I'm usually inside for the most of the time. But I find the summertime I can get into a bit of a clutter more than any other time. So don't ever think that, I'm going to declutter. And I know somebody who spent about £800 or more for a team to come into her house and to reorganize it and everything. And she had this idea that it's going to stay like that. 3 weeks on, she was cluttered again because she didn't maintain the routine and the discipline that these organizers shared with her that she should. So we do get into clutters again. Don't think this is a one-all thing. This is part of our lifestyle. And that's where the old-fashioned idea of spring cleaning comes in. And in the Victorian times, it was always spring cleaning. And these reasons why I've shared is a lot about that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Please share it with somebody else, because I'm sure that most people on the planet can benefit from tips of decluttering that is good for mental health. And the reason why we need to declutter is because you're worth it, and is because you deserve to feel good, and you deserve to have a clear mind and focus, so you can be ready to face the world with happiness and love and grace. And then you can help others the way you want to. You can get stuck into your career because you are ordered in your home. So again, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and let's build this channel. I haven't got very many subscribers yet. I've got quite a lot of views, but not a lot of subscribers. So if you're interested in health, particularly for women, I have got some men that are on board, and that's okay, because a lot of what I say is relevant to men as well. But if you're interested in total well-being of your mind, body and spirit, you want to stay healthy, you want to be healthy, you want to learn how to stay healthy and until your old age, well, this channel is for you. And I've also got the Life Elevation Project on board. It's going to be available for a couple of months, and it's going to come down in November, and it's going to restart for 2 months only in January and February. It's an 8-week program, and it's 16 face-to-face sessions. You get 3 free books that are written about your mind, about your body, and about personal development, managing emotions, going forward to success. And it's a holistic look at how we can be healthy and be happy and succeed in our life. And I'll put that flyer up on the screen, and it's in if you go into my Wellness for Women blog, wellnessforwomen.blog. If you go into the menu, you will see it on the menu, the Life I must be tired. The Life Elevation Project, yes. And I've got a family doing it as well, so it's really exciting. I've got 3 children, a mum and dad, and they want to do it, so I'm really excited about that. Anyway, I'll probably do a whole video on that to explain it a little bit more. And I've got books that I've written available in the shop as well. So take care. Remember to live life on purpose, because your wellness matters. Bye bye for now.